My name is Scott Pryor. I'm the Executive Co-Director of Humanitarian Advocate Coalition. It's January 12th, 2015, and I'm standing here at the state capitol for the first day of the first regular session of the 52nd Legislature. We're hoping to be able to talk to some legislators today from both sides of the aisles and some of the people from some of the organizations that are here rallying. We hope that you will join us and enjoy your day. We're here at the Capitol with Representative Steele, one of the champions of the people. We know you're real busy today, so we just want to take a minute. What kind of goals do you have for this session?
Well, we are going to be fighting for what the people want. And what the people want is equality. They want reproductive freedom. They want reproductive justice. We want to have our constitutional rights protected. So we also want to fund our schools. There is a lot of money that we have been ordered to pay by the voters. We've been mandated by the voters. We've been mandated by the courts that we must pay hundreds of millions of dollars to education. It's time to pay that. It's time to stop messing around. These are our children's lives, and this is tied to our economy. So those are my focuses. That's
excellent. That's excellent. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. I know you're going to be busy today. Good luck to you. We're going to be supporting you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, and we'll see who else we can grab and talk to here shortly. Thanks very much. We're standing here with Andrew Morrill of the AEA here in Arizona. Sir, what kind of goals do you guys see for the legislature for this first session of the 52nd Legislature?
When it comes to education, the legislature would be doing very well to follow the choice that Arizona's parents make. Almost 90% of parents choose every year to send their children in a choice-rich state to their neighborhood district schools. That's the choice they make. And yet, in the last decade or so, it really seems that too many policymakers, once they're elected, they sort of want to steer the state toward a different choice, as if they have a choice in mind all along. Arizona's parents choose their neighborhood district public schools. That's what the policies ought to go to supporting. That's where the funding priority ought to be when it comes to education.
Yeah, and what we've seen, it looks like, is that mostly with the new voucher programs and stuff like that, is there's a push to try to move towards privatization as opposed to supporting the public schools that have done so well. Do we think that we may be able to stop that from happening in this session, or are we still going to have that same battle?
Well, I think we have a challenge in a governor who was elected on the idea, once again, that somehow parents in Arizona are making the wrong choice. He wants them to choose charter schools. Charter schools manage their student bodies very, very carefully, according to those that are going to perform well on test scores. We know this to be the case. So that's not the answer for the state of Arizona, the whole state. The voucher schemes you mentioned, there are too many legislators that seem to want to create kind of an escape clause for some students that can afford it, rather than building a quality public education in a neighborhood school everywhere in the state. And when we do that, when we build a neighborhood school of quality, and we put quality teachers and other folks in there, that's an economic driver for the state. Incomes go up because children are better educated. Higher ed degrees go up because they're ready for colleges and universities. Home ownership has even been shown to increase in states that fund their education systems well. So if the governor is looking for something to make this the opportunity state, he couldn't do better than public education. Sadly, he seems to want to just continue more of the same that's gotten us into a very hard economy and a flatlining economic recession.
Okay, well, thank you for talking for us today. It's going to be a busy day here at the Capitol. I know you got a lot of stuff. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Standing here with Matt from Secular Coalition for Arizona. Matt, what kind of activities do you think we're going to see out of the Capitol this year that's going to affect those of secular nature?
Well, as you know, Secular Coalition for Arizona, our purview on public policy is separation of church and state and ensuring that government and civil law remains secular in nature and doesn't have a religious infusion. So this year we certainly expect the regular bills to come back from the regular people, the regular legislators from the Center for Arizona Policy. We do expect a return in some form or another of last year's controversial SB 1062. And there's some other ones that we likely could see back, some tax-related bills that give privilege to various religious organizations in the tax law, the civil marriage contracts, and anything like that.
Now, one of the things that Jan Brewer did was she set up a council. I can't remember the name of it, but basically it was kind of more of a religious overtone and non-inclusive of atheists, secularists, humanists, and stuff like that. Is that something that is still going to be continuing on in this session? Do you think we're going to be able to fight and get more inclusion into that for people from the secular side?
Well, I believe that that council is there. It's something we have to accept. We obviously opposed it. It's kind of modeled on the national one through the White House. And at the state level, we've actually had several individuals from our community, our secular or atheist or non-theistic humanist community, apply for positions on that council, and they were rejected. So that's a little disappointing that the inclusion wasn't there. But at the same time, we have pretty good contacts with some of the individuals that are on that organization and run that organization, and we feel that we'll be able to have our voice heard, even though we're not actually sitting on the council.
Well, thank you very much for your time. I really do appreciate it. Standing here at the Capitol with Jonathan Lannis. He's going to discuss the ALICE system. Is that right?
That's right.
Which is an integral part for people that want to participate in our legislation going on. So can you explain what that is and how people can get involved into that?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah, Arizona Advocacy Network has always encouraged progressive advocates to get involved in using the Arizona Legislative Information System, or ALICE, as it's commonly known, and also the Request to Speak system, RTS, as it's commonly known. What our ALICE allows you to do is track bills, generate progress reports, and just stay up to date with what's happening at the legislature with different committee agendas and just anything that interests you, or if you want to search for any kind of bills by keyword, by member, by sponsor, you can do it through ALICE. And it allows you to effectively stay up to date with whatever's happening here at the Capitol. And Request to Speak, if there's something that you know is going to come up in the agenda, you want to have the last word as a voter and not let the big money special interest lobbyists have the last word. RTS allows you to submit comments from home. So it allows you to have to just keep track of what's happening at the legislature, and also have an active involvement with whichever bill happens to be running through.
Now is this something that's easy for people to get access to, or is it kind of like an application process?
Well, so the only issue is that in order to get on the request to speak system, you got to come down to the Capitol. You cannot sign up online. So what we do when people want us to come and do a training for them, beforehand they will send me some personal information so I can personally come down to the Capitol. I'll sign them up for a request to speak, and then I'll come down and do a training or a workshop where I'll teach people how to use the system. I'll just teach them the basics. And request to speak is pretty easy to once you play with it for a little bit, it's pretty easy to understand. It's pretty straightforward. They completely redid the RTS system last session. And it's a new system that it's more user-friendly. So I got to give credit to the legislature. They've been really good at improving the system. So once you get the basics through our training, through our little workshop, it becomes second nature, and it allows you to just see who is having input on different bills. You can see which lobbyists are making which comments.
Great. So for those of you, go to Arizona Advocacy Network's website. What's the web address?
www.azadvocacy.org.
And you can sign up through there. You can get some information and be a part of it.
Sounds good.
Thank you, sir. Standing here at the state capitol with Michael Weiser, Safer Arizona, two-time congressional candidate for CD4, and maybe a third time coming up soon.
Possibly. We'll see if that's necessary. CD4 represent.
So, Safer Arizona is wanting to legalize marijuana for personal use and for medical purposes.
Right. We call it the technology or language that we're using is adult use. The medicine's already showing that it has tremendous application in a lot of different ways. So we're trying to, as the phrase goes, free the weed for all people. Right. You shouldn't just have to be sick to have access to this healthful plant.
And it's not just the personal use that's important, it's also the manufacturing ability of the hemp and other things that could bring jobs and benefit to the economy.
One of the speakers this morning from Normal noted that in Colorado in 2014 alone, the cannabis industry produced 10,000 new jobs. So it's absolutely true that this is going to be good for the economy. The biggest impact that I think it will have on our economy, though, is to decriminalize society. Right now we have large swaths of society that are kept out of the mainstream, kept in the shadows, taught they can't trust their government, really marginalized and taken out of the picture. I got involved in working on marijuana reform because I wanted to see this community be respected, not the designated whipping boy.
And it also would reduce our prison population, which would, of course, take the burden off the taxpayers.
Let me say that it is more likely to reduce the jail population than the prison population, just for the clarification. We do have some protections in the state that keep possession offenders from going to prison. However, if you go to any county jail, you'll find a significant percentage of the people there are there for some marijuana charges. The day after the election, when I started being full-time political director for Safer Arizona, I went to a polling site and there was 6 people in the orange jumpsuits. In other words, the jail work crew. All 6 of them were in there for marijuana charges.
So we could actually not only increase our economy for like Colorado has, but we could reduce our prison and jail population, and not put people into a position where where they're basically taken out of society and turned into criminals.
We did, Mr. Soldate, good to see you. We did some research and saw that in Arizona about $78 million comes out of citizens' pockets for paying for their probation alone. Now, if it costs the citizens $78 million to be prosecuted, how much did it cost to prosecute them? How much does it cost to keep the records of their probation and their parole? And how much time did they spend on the law enforcement on that issue instead of chasing sex offenders, corporate criminals, and the people that are really causing problems in society?
Right. Cool. Well, thank you very much for taking the time to talk to us.
very much,
Good luck
Rob.
in the the legislative session of the 52nd Legislature.
We have 2 bills that we're following this session and encourage your viewers to watch. That's HB 2006 and HB 2007.
Cool. So we will get that out there. We'll let everybody know what we're doing and focus on it. Try to make something happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Standing here with Senator, not Representative anymore, Martin Casada. Sir, what would be some of the goals that you have for this session to try to help move Arizona forward?
Well, the biggest goals we have this year is to make sure that we adopt a budget that's going to be responsible and accepting of the people that are most in need here in the state of Arizona. We need to protect those people that are the most vulnerable, and that's going to be my goal, is to really focus on that budget to make sure that we're protecting our most vulnerable.
And are we still going to see, I mean, we've already seen some of the, like the non-citizen idea and some other possible legislation coming out from the right side that is not really concentrating on what's important to Arizonans. Are we going to be able to stop some of that this session?
I think so. I think so. And a lot of that stuff, when new people get elected, the first year of a new session, they throw out a lot of those extreme ideas, and they're just hoping for media, for sound bites in the media. I don't think a lot of that is going to have traction this year. At least I hope not. If it does, it will surely be met with strong resistance, I know, from me and members of my caucus.
Great. Thank you very much for taking your time, sir. Appreciate it.